Hey guys, so I wanted to pick up where the spiraling video left off and talk about kind of the next step in your manual piloting process, which is getting out of a fight safely when things are going poorly and you want to leave. So this video will be about disengaging. Once again, I'm going to be using my alt in an occutor, and I will be in a malediction, just to kind of demonstrate these things. And the goal of this is to get you off grid faster than you normally would if you just kind of right-clicked in space and picked a random object to go to. And this is what we're sort of going to do is kind of play with the normal requirements of warp, which is to say that you have to align to whatever you're trying to warp to, and then you have to get up to speed. In this case, you want to be going 3/4 of your max speed, and this is a fixed value regardless of what your max speed is. And so if you're in a slower ship, or your ship slows down for whatever reason, rather, your ship will get up to max speed faster. So I would actually warp quicker if I turn this micro warp drive off, because I would get up to 3/4 speed a lot faster than I would if I didn't have it on. And so in this scenario, let's say we've targeted this occutor. Let's say it's something nasty or something that can hit us. Maybe it's like an Omen Navy issue or something where it's got good tracking with its guns. And so even though I can sit outside of its point range and it can't hold me down, it's doing a good job of applying damage. And so I'm taking more than I want to. Maybe I'm starting to burn out a nanite repair paste, and I want to get off grid quick. And so again, just picking any random object and warping to it in space will cause my ship to take a long time to get there because it's got to align and then get up to speed again. But it also wrecks any transversal I have, which right now I have the optimal transversal against the target. Whereas if I adjust any direction to any heading, if I go for any heading or whatever, the ship is going to basically kill itself because it wrecks whatever orbit I have. And so what we want to do is we want to look behind the ship towards the front, kind of follow the arrow, and we're going to take advantage of the fact that we're already going at the speed, and we just want to find something that we can sort of align to quickly. And so what you do is you sort of follow the back of the ship, and then as it comes around, you want to find an object that's in its flight path and sort of warp to it. And so since the game already gives me a visual representation of my warp, I already know what that object's going to be, and it's going to be the sun. And so when my ship crests the top of the orbit, I'm just going to find the sun in the overview and click warp, and then as my ship comes around,
warp drive active.
It'll make a quick adjustment for heading, because I was a little slow on my warp out, but the ship itself hits warp a lot faster than it would normally. And so I'm going to warp back on grid with the target and sort of demonstrate that again quickly so you guys can see it, kind of in one fluid motion.
Warp drive active.
But again, the idea is to pick an object kind of along your orbit path that gives you that you can align to really naturally, and you're already at speed, and so it cuts down on the time it takes for you to get off grid. And so it's a really handy way of disengaging from a fight that you don't want to take. And kind of getting you out of harm's way a lot safer than it would take normally. Alright, and so again we're establishing this orbit, and again when the fight started and you've got this ring going, you can sort of guesstimate where you're going to warp to, and sort of find that in your flight path. And so I can look at my orbit and I can see that this object over here is probably where my good warp out's going to be. More systems will have more targets and things like that you can warp to, and so that's something to keep in mind. And then when there's a cluster like that, you can sort of pick various targets. You can see I crested the top of the orbit and warped off almost immediately. Did not lose any transversal in the process, and so it was very easy for me to warp off and not take any extra damage. And I was very quick at getting off grid as well. And so that's sort of what you want to take advantage of when you do this. And so that is it, guys. That is how you disengage from a fight that you wouldn't normally want to just warp off to a random object for. It'll get you off grid faster and safer, and then you can rest up your shields a bit, maybe reload your nanite repair paste, and then get back in the fight. It's important to remember that a dead ship is a useless ship, and so disengaging where possible is usually the better decision. Thanks for watching, and again, if you have any questions, just message me in Slack.